Spike Milligan was asked, "Do you ever pray?" He replied, "Yes, of course. I pray desperately all the time, but I don't know who I'm praying to." I wonder, friends, if you can relate to that. Have you ever been in that situation, perhaps moments of panic or fear or shame or sorrow? And you find within yourself an instinctive reaching out beyond yourself to someone or something greater, higher out there. Maybe you know this evening what it's like to pray desperately, but you would say you don't really know who it is you're praying to. Maybe you're not even sure if there is anyone there. We're going to close our time this evening by following the story of Jesus' birth, following the story until we meet this neglected cast member. This man is old, Simeon. He is almost literally on his deathbed, and he is ready to die. Because now, finally, at last, this old man gets to see the one thing he has been waiting for all his life to see. Simeon sees baby Jesus in the temple. There's the baby with Joseph and Mary. And when Simeon sees the baby, he sees so much more than just a baby. I want this evening you to meet the man who saw what God is like. Simeon saw what God is like. It's a very touching scene, isn't it, that we've just had read for us. You've seen this, I'm sure, the very, very old. Think of the oldest member in your family getting to meet the newest grandchild or great-grandchild, the very old with the very new. And Simeon takes the baby in his arms. Somebody at the very end of life meeting somebody at the very beginning of life. And as he does that, Simeon says to you and me this evening, I hope you can see what I can see. For as he holds the baby, friends, Simeon sees what God is like. See the words that we had read for us? They're there on page 9. Simeon takes Jesus in his arms and he praises God, saying, "Now, Lord, now you can let me die. For my eyes have seen your salvation, which you have prepared in the sight of all your people, a light for revelation to the Gentiles." That's you and me this evening. Gentiles are people on the other ends of the earth. And this child is glory for your people, Israel. Now, I don't know about you, but I have met many proud parents in my time, and I have never yet met a dad who says to me, "This is my new son. He is your salvation. He is our Savior." No new parent has said to me, "This child is the glory of all our people. This child is the light of the world." See, just take a minute to think with me about those things. To be the glory of your people, but also to be the light of the world, means you are a local boy with global significance. You are a local boy with global significance. Simeon is saying Jesus is local. He belongs to one particular place, and yet he is the light of the world. Think about Andy Murray, friends, the Scottish tennis star. Andy Murray is the glory of Dunblane, isn't he? Maybe we would say Andy Murray is the glory of Scotland, or he certainly was at one time, wasn't he? There he was on our televisions, world #1 tennis player. That's our boy, we said. That's our kid. You never felt more Scottish, did you, than when you were watching Andy Murray lift those trophies high in the air? But what person in their right mind would ever say, well, look, because he's from Dunblane, he can only teach the people of Dunblane about tennis. Maybe Dundee, perhaps, at a push. Maybe people in Perthshire, if we're going to really stretch the envelope a little bit, push it out. But no more. He's just a local lad. No, Andy Murray was the local lad with global reach, wasn't he? All over the world. Children in Spain and Argentina and United States and Australia picked up tennis rackets to play. They were told, "You want to know how to play tennis? Look at Andy Murray, world #1. He was a light to the world, wasn't he? not just to our wee corner of the globe. That's what Simeon sees as he looks at this baby in his arms. Glory for us, but the light of revelation for the world. Friends, this evening, you want to know who God is? You want to know who to pray to? Then look at Jesus. Look at Jesus. Friends, this evening, the search for God ends with Jesus. The search for God ends with this baby. He was a real man in real history. I wonder if you know there is earlier and more extensive evidence for Jesus than there is for Alexander the Great in all the annals of history. This very evening you will be in the dark about who God is, whoever you are and wherever you're from, unless you find Jesus. Simeon saw that this little baby is the boy who turns on the light about who God is. He wasn't just an ordinary man in history, he was so much more. That's why I want you to take away this little book. If all of this is new to you this evening, listen to Andrew Wilson. The Christmas story is the most extraordinary story that there has ever been. That the creator of this world became part of it, born of a woman whom he designed and breathing air that he made. I would go further, in fact, and say that actually nothing more extraordinary has ever been claimed to have happened. There is certainly some weird stuff out there on the internet, but nothing that compares with the idea that the God who made the stars became a helpless infant. See, friends, think about what it must mean to say that this child is the light of the world. What can you see without light? Nothing. It's always the issue at this particular carol service, isn't it? People say to us every year, lovely atmosphere, we like the candles, but it was too dark. We can't see, please. More light, please. Now, this room is dark, but how much more so that world outside these doors, right? In the Bible, when you come across the word darkness, it always points to evil and to ignorance. Evil and ignorance. We talk about the dark ages, don't we, being followed by the Enlightenment. We talk about the blackness of people's hearts to commit terrible deeds. Listen again to Andrew Wilson. The Christmas story is a brutally honest account of just how dark the world really is. The Christmas story takes place in a land occupied by a foreign army, among a people burdened by taxes and dreaming of freedom. Its central characters are on the margins of society, far from the palaces and universities where life is warm and exciting and light. And the Christmas story ends, although we usually leave this part out of our modern versions, it ends with a power struggle that leaves dozens of young children murdered and Jesus' family fleeing as refugees. Oh, the Christmas story in the Bible is very, very real about the darkness in our world. And Simeon saw that God is light. He held this baby in his arms and he said, this child is the light of the world. It's an amazing truth, isn't it, that all cultures in every place, in every world, every part of the world, all cultures are drawn to light. Think of Diwali in the Hindu culture, the festival of light. Did you know that the Ming dynasty in China, the dynasty that has bequeathed us priceless vases in the Great Wall of China, that word Ming means brightness. In other words, this dynasty is here to banish the darkness in the world and to bring light. Oh, we love light, don't we? Imagine a carol service without a single candle. Imagine your tree as you get the lights out of the loft and they don't work again this year and you say, well, never mind. We'll just leave them like that. No, we love light. And yet only the Christmas story in all the world claims that in one person, Jesus of Nazareth, God himself, who is light, stepped into our world. Only the Christmas story claims that one person is all the light you will ever need. Do you know why we need him? Do you know why we need this baby, the light of the world? Because I suspect there's going to be at least one argument around your tree this year. Maybe there'll be several arguments. Maybe the tears have already flowed in your living room. Or the tears will come not through fighting this Christmas, but through losing the person who is not there, who used to be there. Oh, the greatest darkness in all the world is death, isn't it? If the sun went out and there was no light, we'd freeze to death. Light gives life, and the Christmas story is that Jesus gives life and light like no one else can. Light doesn't just keep us alive, light shows us truth. Don't try this, but imagining driving home tonight out to the countryside with the lights of your car off and the street lights off. You would not be able to see the truth of the brick wall or the field ahead of you. Light shows us what's true, and Jesus shows us what is true like no one else has ever shown us. Light keeps us warm, light shows us what's true, and light is beautiful, isn't it? Oh, after all the darkness of winter, I've never yet in Aberdeen met a person in March who says, make it stop, all this light returning, all this springing, keep the darkness. No, we love the beauty of what the returning light will bring us, don't we? And Simeon looks at Jesus and he sees in this child the beauty of light. Friends, I have simply tried this evening to introduce you to two people, to Mary and to Simeon. But as you meet them, have you ever met this sort of person? As you meet them and you're looking them in the eye, they're looking over your shoulder at someone else. They're much more interested in somebody else. As you meet Simeon and Mary, this evening, they just want us to meet Jesus, don't they? They want us to see that God has done the impossible. They want us to meet Jesus and to learn what God is like. I hope you'll let them this evening make that introduction. Perhaps they're going to make it for you for the very first time.